Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's been fun. Yeah.
First time.
Yeah,
I'm
this is fun. Yeah. How are you doing?
doing great. I
Got your move
can't
done?
find my keys. I seem to I've lost a lot of keys this year.
Uh-oh.
My
What
son lost his keys to his truck, then I lost my keys to my car.
did you lose the keys
And
for your new house? You
not
moved, you
yet.
said. Okay, good. Awesome, awesome.
That's why I said not yet, because I
Hey,
might.
Jackie. Hey, cool. Well, it's good to see you. Thanks so much. I sorry for geeking out, but I love this topic and I love the podcast that we did on it. And
Oh, really? Okay, good.
well, I just think people need to hear it more. Yeah. So
Okay.
we were doing yeah, and we're doing a what's next week? We're doing a segment on grant writing.
Ooh, I've gotten into that a lot more here.
Well, we found a lady, or I think she found us for the podcast because like podcasts now have there's folks that have like agents. They hire agencies to get them on other pods. And
Mm.
yeah, it's kind of cool, right? And then
Mm.
um yeah, so folks reach out to us that are in the nonprofit space. They go, "Hey, I have a client and they wrote this book and we've met some fascinating people,
I
Christy,
bet you
with
have.
this." Oh my gosh, it's been so cool.
What's the
It's
weather
been
like?
today it's going to be like 60 with like a little bit of rain. It's not great, but it's not horrible. And then tomorrow is horrible. And then after that, it's like 70, 80 for like the foreseeable future. Thank God. We
Today
just,
is
yeah,
gorgeous. It's going to be a high of 68, sunny, hardly any wind, which is kind of unheard of for Oklahoma.
totally. Y'all,
So
y'all,
it's
y'all,
going to be
y'all,
really
y'all,
gorgeous.
you got a lot of wind. Got a lot of wind out there. Hey, yeah, everybody, thanks for coming. Christy's in typical HGA webinar fashion. We're going to talk about the weather a little bit. Let us know where you're at and what's the forecast like this weekend. No, so what do we have? Easter obviously on Sunday and stuff. So it's gonna be nice. We're gonna do a beautiful Easter egg hunt with the kids and my niece and another family and stuff. So it's really gonna be cool. And then yeah, it's like my wife has the whole week off. She's a teacher next week, so she's got spring break, and so does my little one. My oldest is not in school anymore, and yeah, it's gonna be like 80 all week. I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome.
Lovely.
I know it's fun. It's fun. Mm.
I think that's an Oklahoma thing to talk about the weather, by the way.
To have what now?
I think that's an Oklahoma thing to talk about the weather.
Oh, is it? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
We're always,
43 is good, Jack. I talk about the weather incessantly, but you know what's funny? For me, it was I background in endurance sports, right? So I was outside. There was literally a time for 3 years straight where I was outside and I didn't have an inside job. Like I had no job. I didn't have a desk job. And so I was training outside nonstop, and it's like it was always about like this time of year. Hey, when are the roads going to dry? Because it's been, I was doing long distance triathlon or any distance for
oh
that
my
matter.
gosh.
Yeah, and I was outside and I was in the swimming open water and all that stuff. And so I just got so tied into the weather, and I've always loved the sun anyway. But yeah, yeah. Hey, thanks everybody for coming. We're gonna give you just a short time just to, if you want to introduce yourself in the chat, where you're at. If you haven't joined us before, thanks so much for coming. It's awesome. If you have, it's great to see you again. We've got a friend of HGA, a friend of mine, and a friend of ours, Christy, on today, Christy Jeffries, and we're going to talk about just like this, you know, this basically you can create this windfall of donations if you're intentional about it with recurring donations. And I just love this story. I love, um, yeah, your experience with I'll just let the cat out of the bag with Catholic Charities and then what you're doing now and how so many of the ideas that you had were really, really cool because you were testing and I won't give too much of it away. It was just really, really cool. And then I want to talk about what you're doing right now too, for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, thanks everybody for coming. I'll do a couple like little house cleaning things. Hey, if you haven't joined us or if you're joining us again, thanks so much. My name's Trevor Nelson. This is Christy Jeffries. This is the HJ Free Webinar Series. Is it episode 153? You knew it better than I did.
I thought it said 153 on the
Something like that. Yeah,
link.
yeah. We're done celebrating. So we're in that one dead zone where we don't get to celebrate till 200. You know what I mean? So sometime in 2025, you'll all want to be here for that. But yeah, hey, thanks so much for coming. If you're watching this as a recording on YouTube, many thanks. And do us a favor, subscribe. Don't forget that part. Leave us a comment, ask us a question. reach out to us with that, and we can get a question to Christy about recurring donations and all that good stuff. As I mentioned, Christy's a friend of HCA and a team member at HCA as well, and so she's a beautiful resource for all of this information, and just so willing to help, and that's why, one of the reasons why we like you so much, Christy. So thanks so much for coming. But yeah, everybody, thanks so much. State of the end and win. We'll give away some HGA equity or HGA bucks at the end. It's just something we're doing in 2024. It's been really, really fun, actually. And then, yeah, thanks so much for tuning in to, recurring donations and maximizing this. So what's cool about this, I'm going to go like 30,000 foot view and then I'll bring it in. What's cool about this is, like, if you're on the fence with recurring donations, you don't have a campaign. If you have done it before and failed, if you're doing it right now and just need a nudge or just have any questions, this is going to be a very interactive webinar, and all of our webinars typically are. So feel free to hit us with questions in chat, Q&A function at the bottom as well. And let's ask someone who's, I consider you an expert in this space, and I just love what you did. Now, take me back. Let's talk about, I just want to like unpack what you did with Catholic Charities. And
Yes.
I also want to talk about what you're doing now in a few, because you said you're launching a new recurring donation campaign. It's already starting to gain some traction. What was interesting and what stuck with me about, and also so many other things, was that we get a question all the time when we're talking to folks about, being able to share your missions message, being able to say it in 10 words or less. And what we inevitably happens, people go, well, we're funding 11 different missions within one organization. And when we think about that on the way here today was the fact that that's kind of what you were doing with Catholic Charities as well, right? So
Yeah.
you can, I get it that you need to have a focus. It's like this, we're helping kids do this, or we're helping families do that. But if you're working for the Archdiocese and the Catholic Charities of, of Oklahoma City, like you're like, we're funding, disadvantaged, folks, and with shelter and food and clothing and all of these things and all these different resources. So let's talk about that, and let's talk about how that doesn't need to stop you, right? Of course, from asking, and then we'll get into like the nitty gritty and the micro, points about like, how much do you ask for? What options do you give for folks to give? And, things like that. So I'm just so tickled you're here, Christy, and just pumped to be having this conversation again. Yeah.
Yeah. And Jason is not with us today, but
No.
will miss him.
He's with us in spirit. Yes. Yes,
Spirit.
but he sends his best. Everything's good. But you and I, we do really, really well on this topic.
Yeah, we
So, and I'm so into it. I geek out on this recurring donation thing because I love, like we started by talking about like the handwritten letters that you were doing and stuff like that. So let's talk about like what gave you the idea back when you were working with Catholic Charities. We'll talk about what you're doing now, of course. Let's just talk about that and how you got started and what it turned into, if you don't
Sure.
mind. Yeah.
So thanks for having me on. I really appreciate
Appreciate
it.
you.
I've been to a couple webinars lately where they take a really long time to get to the point. So I'm going to try to get to the point
Oh, I
today.
hope I didn't just now. It took 4 minutes to get to the point of letting you speak. I don't think you had a word in 4 minutes, but that's typical HCA stuff with us.
So at Catholic Charities, what we started to notice is that our donations were increasing, and we were trying to figure out where they were coming from. And you have to get in and dig into the data to figure all that out. And we are like, oh, it's from recurring donations. And so when I started at Catholic Charities, we had around 200 recurring donors.
Hmm.
And I was like, I really want to grow this. I really think we could. And I went to a couple webinars about it and kind of how they did things. And so my spin on it was to create a society. And
Yes.
I hate that I'm giving away all my secrets, but
Well, it's such an important one. Yeah, it's such an important one.
it's not rocket science, and it really does become like this base of income for your nonprofit that you can count on year over year over year, because as we found, recurring donors tend to not cancel their subscriptions. Very
Yep.
rare. And so
Yep.
they become more loyal. And as you build your society, they want to know what's going on, how you're using their donations, et cetera, et cetera. So when I
Yeah.
left Catholic Charities, they were at 822 donors. So that was great growth.
Yeah.
I would say maybe 100 to 150 a year is
Okay.
what the growth was. So it's not, I call it the tortoise and the hare.
Yeah.
Slow and steady wins the race. So
Yeah,
you're
for
not going
sure.
to get 800 this year. I mean, maybe you could. Hey, I don't want to discourage anybody.
Hey, the world's if you ask
Traffic
for it,
growth,
if you ask for it, it might happen. You know what I mean?
right?
Yeah.
But I just started here at the shrine, the Blessed Stanley Rother Shrine, and they basically have only been open since February of 2023. So, I mean, we're starting from the bottom.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna, you know, find out what we can do. So when I
Yeah.
came on here, we had 25 donors in the
Okay.
retreat. And I was like, whew, man, I
Nope.
gotta start
Nowhere to
all
go but
over.
up. Nowhere to go but up. Yep.
So we are at 77 now.
Okay.
Again, slow and steady. We're
Okay.
doing good. It's probably about $3,000 or $4,000 that we can count on month after month.
Say what was that number again? Oh,
I'm about 4,000.
okay, 4,000. Let me ask you a question. You were pulling from a donor database of how many when you started with 25, and then, or you just, you're just cold letters, or you had a database where you're starting to appeal to folks and ask them to become recurring donors, correct?
So I really haven't even had that opportunity yet,
Oh,
which is
wow. Okay.
exciting. Uh,
Wow.
really what I focused on were board members. So I'll backstep,
Yeah.
you've got to do your circle of influence, right?
Okay.
So who is that? Board of directors,
Hmm.
staff,
Yep.
volunteers, things of that nature. So I started with that. And we
Got it.
did, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of like peer-to-peer fundraising, but we did a little
Sure.
peer fundraiser that kind of helped a little bit. And so
Yeah.
that's how we got to where we are.
Cool.
Our annual appeal will start in July. And
Okay. Got it.
that's when
Okay.
I'm really gonna push it. But
Okay.
plus, the people who were the recurring donors, I've already got, you guessed, a handwritten note from Christy Jeffries saying, thank you so
Good.
much for being a recurring donor.
Perfect.
And when I was at Catholic Charities, I signed over 400 letters until my
Yeah.
hand cramped and I couldn't do it anymore. But it's
Totally.
individual
Yeah.
attention, care,
Yep.
that people look for.
Take me
Oh,
back to
yeah.
before we get into what you're doing right now, because it's really cool because you built something from, once again, only 200 annual recurring donors with Catholic Charities, built it, 4x'd it, right? When you
Mhm.
left. And then now you got this new deal and you've got all this experience. Take me back though to Catholic Charities. Let's just get in the weeds a little bit and get scientific about it. One really, really, really cool thing is that you named it a society. You named it the Halo Society.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Now, what I loved about that is that it's exclusive. It's,
Branded,
what's that?
branded. It had
I
its
just,
own logo.
it is just so perfect that it was branded. And anyone that's in business, anyone that's running a nonprofit, you're still running a business. Your brand and branding things and these offerings is such a overlooked, behemoth. It's the elephant in the room. You have to brand these offerings and always push brand and push, obviously, right? But with these kinds of appeals, that one thing that blew my hair back when you told me about the success of the Halo Society is that it was a name that you created, and it made people feel like they were a part of a team, and then you were staying in front of them. So let's just reverse engineer it. You branded the recurring donation campaign, right? You started with handwritten letters that you were signing, and once again, we'll reverse engineer the whole thing.
Mhm.
How often were you sending out these letters? Monthly?
No, at first, what we did was we took people who had given a one-time gift
Okay.
uh, of, I think it was $1,000 or less,
Okay. Yep.
and asked them to join the society, the Halo Society.
Okay. Okay. How was the
So,
success of the initial send out when you appealed to those folks? How was that success?
so like I said, it's one of those slow study things. It
Yeah.
was about 100 to 150 attrition year over year over year.
Okay. Okay.
So, it's
So 100, 150 started 100, 150 people started donating year over year. And what were you offering them? What were you giving them the potential to give? And if memory serves, it was $100 or less, correct?
well, there were different levels.
Tiers?
uh,
Yeah. Talk to me about that.
Tiers.
Because I
Okay.
think this is important. I think
Yeah.
it's important. Yep.
So, at Catholic Charities, we were helping homeless people. So we created like a little chart that said, if you give $10 a month,
Yep.
you can provide 10 snack packs to homeless people. And that turns out to $120 a year. So your small gift adds up to a bigger gift, which helps more people.
So good.
$20 a month keeps the lights on for
Yep.
somebody who needs their utility bills paid. That's $240 a year.
Okay.
$40 a month would supply a baby with formula, $480 a year. You might not be able to get $480 now, but I bet you could do 40.
Yeah.
And most people can and
Yeah.
want to help.
Yep. Yep.
And, you know, the challenge with the shrine, not to jump over, I guess I am
Sure.
jumping.
Sure.
I don't have that. I don't have snack packs and
Sure.
you know, programs that really help people. Mine is more now a tourist
Yeah.
attraction.
The shrine is almost like a museum of sorts, correct?
Museum, there is
Yep.
a museum here,
Yeah.
and so it's more about evangelization
Yeah.
and
But people investing and wanting to see it continue so they can come and watch it grow and everyone wants to be a part of that process. Yeah.
did you ever see Bull Durham, the baseball movie?
Of course.
So
Yeah.
no, Field of Dreams. Field of
If you
Dreams.
build it,
I'm
they will
sorry.
come.
I
Yeah,
got the
yeah.
wrong Kevin
I've seen
Costner.
that one too, but yeah, both Kevin Costner. Yeah, yeah.
But you know, he said if you build it, people will come.
No
That's
question.
kind of how I feel about the shrine. We've built it and now we need to sustain what we have built.
I love that. I love
So
that.
um
So yeah, either one, either side. I love the fact. And then did we stop when you were with Catholic Charities? Did we stop at $40 a month as the highest available donation amount or tier, if you will?
no, I think we stopped it at 50, maybe.
Okay, cool.
My
So
memory.
it still pencils out to $600 a year. Now, I'm going to say some silly things that people probably already realize, but we're appealing to consumers. We want them to be investors, of course, and donors in the organization. But at the end of the day, donors are consumers. And this is how folks are conditioned, right? I mean, you found this out to be true. Like, so much of what we do is on a subscription basis with
Yeah.
our consumer goods or the gym or the phone or what have you, that it's kind of just easy for folks to quantify.
Mhm.
And I mean, the organization wants the money. If someone wants to pen a check for $480
Mhm.
annually, sure. But
Mhm.
if you can get that slow, steady drip of 40 a month, that's awesome. And you start, compounding people, into the program that you created, branded program called the Halo Society in this case.
Mhm.
And we highly recommend branding your offering if you're
Definitely.
listening, right?
Mhm.
Huge, huge. And then, so yeah, so you stopped it. And I thought that was really, really impactful when you told me that for the first time. It was like, of course, my mind just goes, well, keep asking, give folks the $1,000 option. It's like, no, it's just too much. It's too much. And so you kept
But
it under
usually,
100. Yeah,
I just want to step in. Usually somebody who can give $1,000 doesn't need to make
totally. Great
payment.
point. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I love also that you pulled data from folks that had given $1,000 one time or less. So that's in that case, you had a pretty good sized database. That's a really great place to start. Now, would you suggest that if someone's like, well, we don't get a lot of $1,000 donors, okay, drop it to 500. Give me a printout, give me an Excel of five, people that have given $500 or less in the last
Mhm.
whatever, ever, or year or what have you. What were the parameters with the amount of time that you went back? Did you go back like in the last year or
I
ever or
think I
two
went back
years?
3 years because
3
we had
years?
some
Cool,
lapsed
fair. Yeah.
donors.
They know who you are. Yeah. They
Yes.
haven't forgotten your name. Okay.
And I
And
was
then,
trying to tap into those people who'd given to us before
yeah.
and had somehow fallen off.
Okay,
Because
cool.
I believe that they fall off for a reason, and that's
Because you
because
don't ask, because you
they
don't
didn't
stay in front of them. Yeah.
communicate, you didn't stay in front of them. And I was like,
Yeah.
this is the perfect way to stay in front of them because once they become a recurring donor, then they're going to get newsletters, they're going to be a
Yep.
part of the society, they're going to have sneak peek announcements about upcoming events.
Perfect.
And
Yeah.
so it really was something I think a lot of people felt more connected to the organization.
Yeah. Is everyone
And
hearing that? I just like, is everyone hearing that? It's like you're giving at whatever level, 10, 20, 40, 50, and now you're a part of the society and you're getting, like you said, sneak peeks, inside access, seeing where the money's going, seeing where your investment's going, the people you're helping, the people that the organization is helping. I love that. And I just, you were doing that via handwritten note, and then eventually went mass produce, notes, of course, because you hit your limit at signing 400 of them, which I thought
yeah,
was
I did.
awesome.
Yeah.
The fact that you were willing to do that was just awesome. But then
I mean,
folks
that's
would get,
like this big, it's like the stack that big.
girl, I'm with you. I totally get it. Yeah, I love the handwritten note. My max would probably be about 100 a month, but
What
uh,
I love is that a donor opens it and goes, is that a handwritten? I think it is.
it's
That's
so cool.
impressive.
Yeah. Isn't that cool? So
Yeah.
we're actually imploring folks to start there.
Yeah.
And then once you hit that point of critical mass, when you're so successful and you're raising $600,000 a year in recurring donations,
Wow.
once you hit that point, just wink, wink. That's what Christy ended up with this program, $600,000 annually
Exactly.
in recurring donations alone. Once you hit that point, there are all sorts of tools out there where you can buy AI generated handwritten notes that have your signature on them and stuff like that. And people understand that once you hit that critical mass, there's only so much, people power that you can apply there. Were folks getting these asks via email? Were they getting newsletters via email? Was there a Halo Society page created on Facebook? All these things. Were there anything like this about these touch points that you wish you would have done, or that were just like, oh my gosh, this works so good? Talk to me about that once you kept folks in the know about what was going on.
Yeah. So we had sorry, I just totally blanked completely
No, it's
out.
okay. But I know you sent out emails, and I remember asking you, were they quarterly? Were they monthly? What's too
Yes.
high of a
Okay.
touch? That kind
Sorry.
of thing. No, you're
So the
good.
newsletters were quarterly.
Okay.
Um,
Cool.
so, every 3 or 4 months or so. But what was important for us to know was that
Yeah.
the newsletter had a 40% open rate, which meant it's working. They
Via
want
email.
to
Yeah.
know they're
Crazy.
opening it, they're not just deleting it. 40% is great, 10% is average, 40% is amazing.
40% is really good these days.
We
Yeah.
just sent out our first newsletter here with our 77 donors, and we had a 62% open rate.
Beautiful.
So, I
Beautiful.
mean, that's how I know it works. And I did have a little bit of a strain with my boss in naming the society here at the shrine, because he had never really done that before. He had never
Yeah.
really branded it before. And I was
Yeah.
like, if you'll just trust me on this, I promise.
Yeah.
And
You're
so
like, look at my track, look at this resume. No, I'm joking. What did you name it at the shrine that you're at now? What'd you name it?
So just to give you a little bit of background about this
Please.
shrine,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sell anybody anything, but
No, I love it.
Father Rother was a martyr who died in 1981. He was killed during the Civil War in Guatemala, and he
Okay.
will be, hopefully, the first saint of the Americas. All the other
Wow.
saints are not from here. And he's from Okarche, Oklahoma. So
Okay.
we started with, there were a lot of weavers in like weaving.
Yes. Gotcha.
And
Yeah.
so my idea was, okay, every donor is a thread in the
Mm,
tapestry of, this final product.
yeah.
And so we call it the Tejedores Society, which
Yes.
in Guatemalan means Weavers
Weavers. Yeah.
Society. So you are helping us to create what the shrine can become.
Wow. I love that. I love that. Yeah, you're like, hey, I know what I'm doing. Give me some bandwidth here, buddy. No, I love that. Good. So you didn't no fighting, no fighting. And they're like, yeah, do it. Let's do it. That's awesome. Good, good. Yeah. If anyone has any, questions about any of this, once again, we're reverse engineering the process, and we'll stay on topic with the recurring donation thing. But any other questions or anything that's like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? We have an expert on, and I'm just a good information vessel from listening to all these
Mhm.
success stories. So, any questions in the chat or Q&A, go and hit us up with that. Maybe even a show of hands. Is everyone here using and imparting a recurring donation campaign via mail right now, or are you thinking about it at the very least? And like I said, hit us with some questions, because that's what we're here for. So, um, okay, cool, nice, yeah, right on, Darlene, awesome, awesome. And then folks that are on the fence or anything like that, just talk to us about this. What's interesting. One other question I probably have already asked Christy, but I forgot the answer already. But were we getting to a point where we were offering the recurring donation option via email at one point as well, or was it
Yes.
only handwritten? Okay.
And also, there was something that I realized I did differently that a lot of people don't. And
Okay.
that is on your donation form, on your online giving form,
Okay.
whatever you're using as we use Blackbaud,
Yeah.
but whatever you're using as your,
CRM.
software
Yeah.
program,
Yeah.
you can change the wording. So most people just have like donate one time, donate monthly.
Okay.
I try to make it a little bit more exciting by saying join Tejedor Society.
Yeah,
You can change the wording on those buttons to
for
whatever
sure.
you want. And so I can't remember who it was that you hooked me up with, Trevor, but they are working on their recurring donor society. And
Oh, okay. We sent over someone for you to speak to
I
about
think
it.
it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
youth something.
yeah.
Anyway,
Oh,
uh,
youth empowerment, maybe could have been.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so, we had a really great discussion and they're like, we didn't even know we could do that. We just thought that
Yes.
was, it had to be that way.
Yes.
So they're still
I think it's awesome.
working on it
Yeah.
and hammering it out. And like
Um,
I said, it's okay. It doesn't have to be overnight. It's towards,
when someone responded via mail, like USPS, would there be an envelope with a check? Would there be an envelope or go to this website to enter in your credit card information or your ACH bank information? Kind
yeah.
of talk to us about that because I mean, it is important, y'all. And Maria had a great question about that. You keep them engaged by continuing to tell them about what you're doing and where the money's going for sure. And then
Mhm.
as far as keeping the recurring donations up, it's really basically I mean, for lack of a better word, a contract where you're agreeing to give that much money every month for what in perpetuity until you cancel it, basically, right? Okay, great. Yeah, just like a gym membership or
Yeah.
something along those lines. Folks can cancel anytime. Of course, you say
Yeah.
things like that.
Yes.
Oh, and what I remember you saying this now that sparked a really interesting question, Maria. So I appreciate you asking. But you said we were like you had drop off a couple times, and it was because people's the expiration date on their credit card changed. So
Yes.
you'd ask them for a new payment method because they've been giving to you for 3 years, and that
Yes.
inevitably happened. And what was the attrition rate when things like that happened? Was it exceptionally low? Was it zero?
It was
It was
pretty
just
low.
like, that's so cool.
It was
Yeah.
pretty low. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you
But
a
we
fan
did,
now in hindsight of giving folks the option to do it ACH and credit card, debit card, all the above? Just getting in the weeds on that with payment processing and all that stuff and where we're at in 2024. Any feedback about how you do it differently or any great, insight there?
we started noticing a lot of people preferred online. And so we started putting QR codes
Smart.
where
On the letter. Yeah.
yeah,
And the
you say, if
email.
you want to become
Smart.
a recurring donor, go right here.
Come
And
on.
it would take them right to, you'd skip like hitting any buttons. You'd go right to, I want to be a recurring donor.
Wow. So good.
And so that
Yeah.
really helped a lot.
Yeah.
And we did direct mail, we did e-newsletters, we did, of
Do you
course,
do text messaging?
we did text messaging. That did not actually pan out the way we thought it
Sure.
would.
Just curious. Yeah.
People
Live and learn.
felt it was intrusive. And I've done more than one text campaign, and
I
both
understand.
times I did it, people thought it was weird and intrusive. So I haven't really gone back to that, but if it works for you, great. It just didn't.
Yeah, we're not married to it, but at the same
Right.
time, that was your experience. Yeah. You said a couple things. You're like, it was like a QR code, a direct link. It's like recurring. Okay, Halo Society here, branded. Another thing I hear just like business 101 is just like we just made it really, really simple for folks to give and say yes. It's like click this box, pay. Or
Yes.
how about don't even click the box, pay this level now. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yes.
It's like, and we just love in business. Like one of the things when we started the company, I was like, let's just make it as easy as possible for folks to use our product. Like no pressure. We're not pushy. We're not salesy. Let's just give you everything. You don't have to even ask me a question about how much it costs. It's like, it's all right here. Click this button. It's yours. Like that kind of thing. So like removing friction when
Yeah.
it comes to getting people involved and creating these fans. I call them like raving fans, customers, donors, volunteers, investors. That's all synonymous, right? Just
Yeah.
removing those friction points and making it easy is really a underappreciated skill, right?
If you've got a whole bunch of one-time givers, you have the opportunity to create a nice, sustaining, recurring donor program.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Because the lifetime of sustaining supporters is 600 to 800% higher than just a one-time annual giver.
Yep. Yep.
So it's just
And we're talking about LTV. We're talking about the lifetime value of a donor, and it just goes up
right.
exponentially.
And you
Yeah.
increase donor retention because 80% of recurring donors have like a first year retention rate of 80%. So you're keeping them.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will fall off after that first gift because they don't feel part of the organization or they don't feel like their gift did anything.
Yeah.
And by you sending them newsletters, you're saying, hey, thank you for your gift. Look what we did with it.
Yeah.
So it
Awesome.
keeps them engaged.
I love
Also
that. I
helps
love that.
decrease operating costs because you don't have to, acquisition is one of the most expensive things in the nonprofit world.
Yes.
And you don't have to do all the printing. You reduce pressure and effort associated with constantly soliciting donors. And they kind of like not being bothered all the time, to be honest. Like, oh, here they are asking for money again. Well,
Yeah,
if you're
you're
a recurring donor, we're just going to send you newsletters
just
every
updates on how great things are going and what
yeah.
type of a winner you're a part of. No, it's so true because people get over indexed, right? Because they're getting
Yes,
the emails from the clothing company, they're getting the emails from the other nonprofit that you're not
yes.
necessarily competing with, but that's had the same idea and what have you. So yeah, let's make it easy. It's almost like a fix and forget. I'm using loose terms here, but you get what I'm saying.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just like I don't want to be burdened with this. Let's just make it easy, and here we go. Because that's the convenience side of what we want to create with customers, donors, all the above. I had a we had an anonymous. I love that because hey, by the way, the Q&A is anonymous. If you don't want to put your business in the street, we had a question. She or he said, "Will you repeat the open rate that you had for emails at Catholic Charities and now at the Shrine?"
42. I have it written down.
Oh, cool. It's anything, gosh,
40%
40%.
open rate. And when I asked the other day what our open rate was on our last newsletter, it was 62%, I believe.
So uncanny. It also
I
means people
care.
care. Are you getting in the weeds with like testing subject lines and not saying, "Hey, we're a 501(c)(3) in the first, line of your email and things like that? Are you doing any kind of like A/B testing there from an email perspective?
I don't ever do that
Okay. What
because
do you not ever do? Sorry.
dear Trevor Nelson
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
or dear blank comma, which I've gotten multiple
Yeah, I
times.
don't like that one.
Like something didn't work in whatever
Yeah.
MailChimp or whatever they were
Yeah. It's
using.
not
And so
connecting. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's very off-putting. So I just alleviate that by not doing that at all.
Sure.
And I usually don't ever really use the term 501(c)(3).
Thank goodness. That was a loaded question. Yeah. Thank you.
Because really fundraising is about storytelling. And
Come
that's
on.
a whole nother podcast
That's a
we
really
could
good, that's a
do.
really good thought though. But you can also, well, let's weave that in though here. Oh, whoa. Part hey.
Weave,
Tejarones.
Ivy
Tejarones.
weave.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Oh my good. But let's weave that into the conversation. That this gives you an opportunity repeatedly over and over and over again, without being annoying, of course, and
Right.
being, deliberate about how often you're messaging folks to tell the story.
Mhm.
Once they're a part of the society or they're a part of the Tejarones, is it a society as well in this
Yes.
one? Yeah, okay. Are you like this society where I like it and I think it's a great brand. It's
Yeah.
it's a great approach, but it could be anything. It really could be depending on what what you're into and what you're raising money for, of course. But telling that story gives you these opportunities, and you're exactly correct.
Yes.
We speak that on a regular basis because that's the truth. There's many ways to go about doing that. Video, email, the handwritten notes, text
Mhm.
messaging might work for you. Be
Those
open
special
to it.
little
Yeah.
touches. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Let's talk about that then. And hey, listen, if you didn't, I think you probably did, knowing you, but if you didn't, this is not a bad thing or accusatory. What did you do when someone signed up? Was there a
Oh,
prompt, a
oh, yeah.
trigger that happened when someone signed up? Yeah.
So this is
Go ahead.
where a lot of people are like, wow, you're really intense type A personality. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I knew you did
oh
something.
yeah.
That's why I was like, I didn't think I was off base on this one. Yeah, yeah.
So I had it to where every time a recurring donor came through, a new
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
which I would get notified every time
yeah, of course,
through
which is
my email.
awesome. That makes
So like when you first send it out, you're getting, hundreds.
Mm-mm-mm.
Every single one of those person got a specialized email from me. Thank you for joining
Wow.
the society. You are now included with 500 other donors who are doing the same thing, and welcome, welcome, welcome. And I can't wait to send you our first newsletter. It comes out in
Yes,
January, whatever. And just, touching base with them on a really personal level.
yes.
So, it
So
wasn't
good.
auto-generated. It was
Good.
it was something that I did copy and paste it,
That's
but
okay.
it was specialized to them. So I would
Right.
put their name in there, and I would put the amount that they were giving and what that could do. But the general message part was pretty much all the same, thank you for
Yep.
joining. But that, yes, everybody who gave got a welcoming letter or an
That's
email.
awesome. That's awesome. So good.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it just works. So
Yeah.
I just want to try to teach people, it's not rocket science. It's
Yeah.
not going to be something where you make $1 million, like Mackenzie Scott's just handing out millions of dollars.
Sure. Sure.
It's not going to be that fast, but it will be slow and steady, and it will give you a base from year to year you can count on.
I love that.
What I mean by that is, like, if you set your goal, let's say your goal is $1 million next year, and you've already got this base of $3,000, you can count on that next year.
Yes. Yep.
So, because like I said, not very many people, I mean, people do cancel, but I would say I've had one cancel since I've been here, and I've been here 7 months.
Yeah. Awesome.
It's not a lot of,
Yeah, life's gonna happen and that's okay. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It is what it is. And guess what? That means no for right now. It doesn't mean no forever. You know what I mean? So don't get married. Don't get attached to those whatever you want to call them highs. Don't go too high and don't get too low. That's how I look at it, right? And it's so process driven. The idea of recurring donations. There's so much symmetry to how to look at things from a business perspective, from a fundraising perspective. About just slow and steady, stay process driven, stay in it, make those touches. You know what I mean? As far as like the handwritten note, the email. I would even suggest, if you have the time and the bandwidth, pick up the phone. What do you think about that? Thank someone. Someone gave $500 3 years ago and they sign up for $50 a month for your recurring donation program. Have someone call them. If you're an executive director, if you're the CEO, have the board call them, that kind of thing. Those are humongous because listen, some people give $50 a month, Christy, but when they die, they leave 5 million.
Yes,
And
that's
it's how
all.
you treat people that makes that really, really, really a reality
We
of it.
just got a bequest for 200,000. Now, she
Wow.
wasn't a recurring donor. I'm sorry, I won't
Yeah.
lie about that,
No,
but
don't lie about it. It's all good.
it's at
She
some
knows someone that is. No, I'm joking.
at some point she was touched so much by the shrine that she left us in her will. So
Wow.
it's that feel good. Because, I gave to an organization, I won't say the name, last
Hmm.
and I became a recurring donor. I never received a welcome letter. I haven't received any kind of follow-up. And actually, I don't even know when my next payment is coming out
Yeah.
because there's been no follow-up.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like that's where you can lose donors. We're like, well, they just wanted my money.
Yes. Yes, I understand.
And so
Let's
you
use that as
have,
a cautionary tale about what not to do, right? And then also, I'll also say this, just don't do it until you're ready. Right? And don't do it until you're ready to do it the right way. Like, so if you have to push it out a month or what have you, or you don't have the right staffing just yet, it's okay, but don't do it. Like, what if you do hit lightning in a bottle? Don't do it until you're ready and you can handle it, right? Is another thing. And it's also, like you said, you keep saying it's not rocket science. We're trying to make it sound, relatively easy to start. And I think with the right approach it is. So
I'd love to
yeah.
read this. You
Talk to me.
remember Katie Morgan?
What's that now?
Katie Morgan?
I know the name, yeah.
So this is what she wrote me. Because I was
Okay.
just checking in with her to see after our conversation, like, how are things going? Thank you so
Yes.
much for circling back with us to check on progress with the campaign.
Yeah.
We actually decided to rebrand it due to some overlap confusion
Smart.
with similar messaging from the YVC headquarters
Yeah.
for a different initiative they're spearheading. So we've
Yeah.
drafted a couple of graphics for the new Impact Society campaign.
Love it.
Still trying to land on something that has the right look and feel.
Yep.
And we'll launch it in tandem with the upcoming Give Local 757 event in April.
Yep.
So we're
I have
behind
seen
the
it.
8 ball a bit, which I don't think she is. It's tagging onto what you just said. Don't rush it. Do it
Yep.
when it's right. And
Yep.
she
Make
said,
sure it's done right. Yep.
but we're grateful we avoided the branding snafu. So
Good.
isn't that perfect?
I think so.
And
Totally.
so
It
anyway,
is
I'm
perfect.
really excited to see what they come up with, but you don't have to have it tomorrow
No,
on
but
it
it
and
is
get it
something that
right.
you need. I call it low-hanging fruit if you're okay with me assigning that kind of
Yes.
moniker to it.
Yeah.
But even that does take work because you got to pick it. But um, the branding things is something that fascinates me because when you said that to me a year ago, I just, bam, it hit me like right in the forehead. I'm like, oh my God, you're so smart. for doing it this way. And it's like, did you get like a graphic designer to design the brand, all that stuff? Yeah, see, it's like I know you got to take that extra step, but like you can do that on Fiverr or Upwork online, or there's someone that's a volunteer, someone on your board that's their business, they're a marketing company or whatnot, and they can design these things for you. But you went all the way with that. You had like letterhead with the
Oh, yeah.
logo. Yeah, good. The font was
The
picked out.
H,
Yeah.
the H went up to create a cross.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
on top of the cross was a little halo.
Halo. Yep. Look at you. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So treat it like that, y'all. You know what I mean? Like treat it like obviously like it's important, you know, like it's a expression of the organization, right? It's your brand, it's your reputation, and you get one of them. So take it seriously. Yeah, have someone create, like I said, you can do that online very, very easily, or someone in your space that would be really happy to put up a couple, options for you to take it. And I'm just super, super brand forward. That's how I am with
Canva is
everything.
also a really great
There you
resource.
go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Super inexpensive to do that kind of stuff. If you need any help about that, just reach out and we can definitely talk you through it. Hey, any questions? Not a
Oh,
last
wait,
call
can
for
I add
questions.
one thing?
You can add many things. I appreciate if you do.
So every year, after we got them in the society,
Mm-hmm.
every other year, I'll say, every other year, not every year,
Mm-hmm.
because I just don't like to put that kind of pressure on donors, but every other year I would ask for an increase. And it would just
Yes,
be
I
a
remember this.
simple sentence that says, thank you for your recurring gift of $20 a month. Would you consider giving your gift of would you consider increasing your gift to $30 this year?
Yep.
90% of the time, they did it.
Why did they do that?
Because again, you make it easy. Oh, I can do $30.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
You want to know why I think they did it?
and you tell them, like, here's what we would want
Here's where
from.
the extra $10 is going. Yeah. Do you want to know why I think that they said yes?
Why?
Because you asked.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm clever. Aren't
Absolutely.
I clever? Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
like
you
you
don't
said,
want
yes, you remove all friction points, make it as easy as possible for folks to say yes, but they won't say, and you were so, hey, you could have asked after 2 months and it might have been too soon, but you made sure you went around the sun with them, with the society for
yes,
12 months, and it wasn't even a renewal. It was
right.
a simple gesture and an ask for $10 more a month, $120 a year.
Mhm.
Would you, and that not because of we're greedy or anything like that or like what have you, but
Right.
greed would dictate, okay, why didn't I ask for 20? Oh my goodness, blah, blah, blah. Did you ask for more? Did you always set that at $10 above their current giving
We
level?
actually set it at, like, I think 5% increase.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that was
Gotcha.
just
Yeah.
the standard. So, 5% of 100 would be
Five
that.
bucks a month. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, cool.
So,
Cool. I love that.
yeah.
What do you think in hindsight now though? I mean, you just gave us an example where they were at 20, then you asked them to go to 30. That
Mhm.
incremental increase at $10 a month is like two coffees, right? For folks. Now
Yeah.
in hindsight, would you have just made it like a or maybe I misunderstood. Was it just a simple dollar amount where you're like, here you go, click this button and it's going to increase you by $10 a month? Or did you just do the percentage thing?
We just did the percentage thing.
Now, in hindsight, would you have done it? Because I'm just, geeking out on it. Would you consider just going, yeah, add another $5 a month, add another $10 a month, just to make it really simple, just a quantifiable number as opposed to a percentage?
Well, okay, let me backtrack.
Yeah.
On our side, we did it as a percentage. On their side, it was a dollar amount.
Perfect. Okay. Because I think that's really smart, just to give them like, here's a flat
Yes,
dollar. Here
yes.
you go. You know what I mean? I just think it's easy to digest, easy to say yes, all the
You have
above.
to create formulas, in the Excel spreadsheet
I
to
understand. Okay,
mailing
gotcha.
house.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wanted to understand that. Yeah. How you did it from there. Okay, cool. Yeah. And that's another exercise in process and patience
Yes.
and pragmatism. Three P's we just made up. But waiting for 12 waiting for it's been a long week. No, waiting till that 12-month period where you're like, this is how much you've done, this is what we've done together. Look at this. Oh my goodness, would you consider? That's great. I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. I really, really like that a lot. That's good. I'm gonna do another call for questions. If we have any more, please take advantage of it because Christy's obviously an expert in this space, raised millions of dollars,
Millions.
literally millions of dollars. Do you ever pinch yourself? when you do that? There's not
You
many
know,
people that like,
I need at some point to go back in time when
hmm
I first started fundraising and add up all the money that I've raised to see
you
what
absolutely should.
I
You
have never
absolutely
done
should.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you should. I don't think I say this to my wife all the time. Um I married my dream girl and you know, I have a beautiful little daughter and life's amazing and we have the company and all this stuff and I think so often we don't do a good job of being kind enough to ourselves and allowing ourselves to reflect in that way. And
Mhm,
we also do that I notice with people that are closest to us. Could be coworkers, colleagues, partners. You know, I got Jason, right? I got, you know, my sister, my brother, his daughter, they all work for us and all that stuff. And I think sometimes we get caught in this thing where we're moving so fast and we go, well, no news is good news. They know I'm grateful,
mhm,
right? And
mhm.
I tell my, I just thought of this for some reason. And it has nothing to do with recurring donations, but hopefully it'll add something to your day. But I tell my wife, I told someone this, I say to my wife, I go, you know, we don't do a good enough job. We're telling each other that we're doing a good job, you
So
know?
important.
And I think
Who doesn't want to
fundraising,
hear that?
exactly,
Everybody
precisely.
wants to hear that.
You know, so the people that are close to me mean so much to me. Sometimes I've even noticed I have trepidation and insecurity about doing it because it'll make me cry because they mean so
Oh,
much to me. Yeah, seriously, yeah.
Rocky.
But um, but fundraising is hard,
It is.
and being in business is hard sometimes, and keeping things going and keeping people happy and keeping people engaged is hard.
One of the reasons why I've never added it up too is because I didn't do it by myself.
Totally.
Always
Yeah.
had a team. And if I
Yeah.
didn't have my team, I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it alone.
Yeah.
So I always feel a little guilty with, oh, I raised millions of dollars with a team.
Totally. Yeah, no one can do it on their own, right? That's
Nobody.
the beautiful part.
Yeah.
So it gives you it hopefully that's a nice nudge to for a nice gratitude nudge and also a nudge to be kind to yourself. And yeah, I still think you should look up those numbers. You know where they came from. And that's okay. That's okay. That's not egotistical. I used to I am those kinds of things people have been asking me a lot of questions recently because we've been on different pods and stuff like that. And someone said, did you do it for, you know, like they asked me about like money, and I'm like, I never got into business for the money. Like, I just enjoy it. Like, I just love this. I love what we
Mhm.
get to do. It's so fulfilling. But I also, for something about me that never looks at those kinds of things or like quantifies success that way or qualifies success that way. Because I don't want to get high on, I don't, I have this thing about me where I don't get high on my own supply. You know
Uh,
what I mean? I thought that was really good advice I got from
mhm.
someone in the past. And but yeah, anyway, no more long long-winded
Diatribe. Uh,
existential yeah thoughts of from T-Dog today. But I thought that I just love the opportunity here with recurring donations. And you can, once again, you can interject so much gratitude for these donors, engagement with these donors, re-engaging old donors that you haven't talked to in 2 years. What a
mhm.
great way. Because like people are always, Christy, like I was, what do I do? Like I always tell folks, like they don't, they're, I don't know what to say. I was like, well, say thank you.
Oh,
You don't know
absolutely.
what to say thank you. You know, so let's just start there. That's a great place to start.
That's a
Um,
wonderful place to start. In
and
fact,
people are always, yeah,
my
go
whole
ahead.
first year at Catholic Charities, that's pretty much a lot of what I did.
Yeah,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
In Blackbaud, if you guys have Blackbaud, it'll tell you how long a donor has given to your organization
I
and
love
how
that.
much that totals up to. So I would call them, I'd be like, oh my gosh, thank you for giving for 23 years to our organization. Did
Yeah,
you know you've almost given us $500,000 in those 23 years? And more than it always happened. They'd be like, are you kidding me? That's how much
yeah,
I've given you.
yeah.
And I'd be like, yes, thank you so much. You've changed
Change
lives.
lives. Yeah.
Mhm.
So good. Yeah. Getting that data too. Gosh, that's a whole nother topic, right? That's a
It
whole nother,
is.
yeah.
We
Getting
have
that
these
data.
other topics we need to write down and have podcasts for
Yeah.
them.
We talk about it a lot. Yeah. We were talking about CRMs on the podcast recently. That's a shameless plug to listen to. Hey, nonprofits raise more money. Christie's episode on recurring donations. We just did this basically condensed in like 25 minutes, but it can't be something that it can't be overspoken. It's so impactful. It's so huge. Gives you an opportunity once again to stay in front of folks. I think that's great. You know, with these relationships that most folks already have in place. I know you're starting a lot of these from scratch at your new position, but I bet that's also kind of fun. That
It
challenge is
is
also kind of the fun
like,
part.
let me see
Yeah.
what I can do here.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that.
And
Yeah.
also
So
one thing just to add, I know I feel
please.
like I've been kind of all over the place today,
No,
but
you haven't at all. This is great.
millennials love recurring donation.
Cool.
If you're
It's quick,
trying
it's
to
easy, it's
scratch that,
convenient. I can do it with my phone. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I don't think that should be valued either. That's really, really smart. Yeah, you're just listen, more things that we can do. We talk about this in so many veins with like fundraising events or anything. Let's get with the times. This is how people are ingesting things. This is how people are like, this is how people consume stories. This is how people spend, things like that, making it easy for folks to do things that they're already accustomed to do it. I call it's like they've already that there's no pain because the pain's been removed because they already do it this way in their life at their once again, I've used the gym and the phone and the subscriptions and the blah 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 and the we get whey protein sent to us like just because it's convenient every month. So I don't have to order it, on Amazon, that kind of stuff. It's like the subscribe and save thing, all these phenomenons. Folks are doing this by the billions, not in billions of dollars. Billions of people are doing it this way, like in their daily lives with their consumer goods and whatnot. Why not make giving this convenient and this easy? So, yeah, that point can't be overspoken as well. So, I hope everyone got a lot of value out of this. I'll do a last call for questions because I don't have Jason's. If you haven't joined us before, we give away something at the end of every webinar. He's my business partner. He's usually on here. But he said, yes, you can talk to Christy one-on-one because you geek out on recurring donations today. And I said, oh, thank you so much. And so he's got this really cool contraption where he spins a wheel and all that good stuff. I had someone on our team do that and send me over the winner. So the winner today is going to get $250 in HGA bucks that you can use towards one of our items at your next fundraising event. Now, it could be an online event, in-person event, some combination thereof. I will get to that winner. Oh, cool. Thank you, Jackie. Appreciate the feedback. I thought we had a last minute question. All right, this is really it. Last minute question. And the winner of the $250 in HGA bucks is Ken Hollinser. Ken Hollinser. Yeah, man. That's awesome. Well, hey, congrats, Ken. Thanks so much for coming. Ken, thank you so much. We'll have someone from our team in contact with you with regard to the how to use those $250. It's really, really simple. We make it easy to use them. And and then also everybody will get the recording of this webinar. It's such a joy to have Christy on talking about this. I just love the idea of recurring donations and how easy it can be, and just the upside, the tremendous upside. So everyone will get the recording by tomorrow. If we don't see it, or hear from you, have a great holiday weekend. Christy, I
Happy
can't thank
Easter,
you enough.
everybody.
Yeah, we can't thank you enough. Love the new campaign that you're doing, and we'll definitely keep in touch with you about that. And really, really appreciate your time as always. You know that. So thank you. Yeah.
Thank you,
All right.
Trevor.
All
Always
right,
enjoy it.
everybody. All right. Enjoy your holiday weekend. Thank you all so much. We'll talk to y'all soon. Okay. See ya.